I'd like to call this meeting to order. Time is 6 p.m. This is the February 5th, 2025 regular meeting of the Schertz Planning and Zoning Commission. Item number 1 was called to order. Item number 2 is to seat an alternate if required. We have Commissioner Wallace on it with us this evening. Item number 3, hearing of residents. Anybody sign up? Well, I need the roster. I don't know who to call on if I don't have the roster. So let me go ahead and read this then while she's doing that. Hearing of residents, this time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the Planning and Zoning Commission. Each person should fill out the speaker's register prior to the meeting. Presentation should be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Discussion by the commission of any item not on the agenda shall be limited to statements of specific factual information given in response to any inquiry, a recitation of existing policy in response to an inquiry, and/or a proposal to place the item on a future agenda. The presiding officer during the hearing of residents portion of the agenda will call on those persons who have signed up to speak in the order they have registered. And as you come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, please. All right, first off, we have, well, it looks like we've got 5B and C, and those are public hearings. So you have an option here, those of you that signed up. There's no requirement to sign up to speak during the public hearing. Anyone can speak. So you can speak now and have your 3 minutes, or you can wait and speak during the public hearing and have 3 minutes, or you can do both. It's your choice. So first off is Jay and Kathy Brown. Okay. And then we have Trey Wyatt. I can't quite hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you gonna speak, or? Well, come on up. Well, okay, you can speak now, but you want to wait and do the public hearing. Okay, all right, we'll do that. And that looks like everybody, just those people. Okay. Okay, item number 4 is the consent agenda. We have a single item, item 4A. The minutes for the January 22nd, 2025 special Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Commissioners, does that need to be pulled for discussion? If not, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All righty, I have a motion from Commissioner Wallace.
Second.
Second was Commissioner McMaster. There's no discussion on the consent agenda. Please record your votes. Okay, I have 7 votes. Would you publish that, please? So I have 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. All right, item number 5. The public hearing. We actually have 4 public hearings this evening. Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing related to zone change requests, specific use permit requests, and Unified Development Code amendments within this agenda. The public hearing will be open to receive a report from staff, the applicant, the adjoining property owners affected by the applicant's request, and any other interested persons. Upon completion, the public hearing will be closed. The commission will discuss and consider the application and may request additional information from staff or the applicant if required. After deliberation, The commission is asked to consider and act upon the following requests and make a recommendation to the city council if necessary. So what's going to happen is we'll do these one at a time. We'll start off with a presentation from staff. We will then offer the applicant an opportunity if they wish to present anything. After that, I will open the floor for public comment, and anyone that wants to address us about that topic is welcome to step forward. And then when that is done, I'll close the floor, and the commissioners will hold their discussion. And I just want to be clear up front that these public hearings are not two-way conversations, okay? If you have questions, I will make note of them, and staff usually makes note of them. And then after I close the public hearing, staff may be able to answer your questions, or I might be able to, okay? But it's not, it won't be a back and forth thing. It's just you talk, we talk, okay? All right, so starting out with 5A is PLSPU 2024-0273, hold a public hearing and make a recommendation on a specific use permit request to allow automobile repairs and service major in general business district on approximately 0.4 acres of land, more specifically known as a portion of Guadalupe County property identification number 121092, generally located 1,092 feet southwest of the intersection of IH-35 North Access Road and FM 1103, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. Floor is yours.
Good evening, Commissioners. PLSPU 2024-0273, a specific use permit to allow automobile repair and service major on FM and 1103, Daisy Marquez, planner. Here is the subject property outlined in yellow. It is located along FM 1103. I-35 is up to the north. The subject property is currently zoned General Business District to the north. The remainder of the property is zoned General Business District, and we have an existing RV park. To the south, we have properties zoned General Business District with the existing total auto repair and with an approved SUP for automobile repair major, and then we have Alamo hangars directly to the south. To the right, again, FM 1103 is a principal arterial, but farther out right, we have the Fairway subdivision that is zoned R6. And then over here to the left, we have the Riata subdivision that is also zoned R6. And again, it's approximately 0.4 acres. They're not proposing to parcel this off. They want to remain on the Rancho Vista campground, and they're in Guadalupe County. So we did send out 18 public notices on January 22nd, and we did receive 2 in opposition. And we will be posting a notice in the paper before City Council. So as you can see here to the right is the full definition of what is allowed within automobile repairs and service major. And it includes things like air conditioning systems, doing fabrication work, tire retreading, reupholstery of like the car seats inside of cars, insurance estimations, very much total auto body work. And per the letter of intent, the applicant does design, construction, repair, refabrication, and renovation of food trailers, and they have the capacity of doing electrical, structural, and fabrication work. So when we go through specific use permits, we look towards criteria listed in 21.511D for specific use permits. And when looking at the comprehensive plan, this subject property is designated as local corridor. And local corridor is meant for locally oriented commercial along those medium to high volume collector roads, and typically there are neighborhoods along the perimeter of local corridor. But when making considerations of zone changes, when people come to us, we must consider the scale and intensity of what's in the surrounding area. And when evaluating the specific use permit, FM 1103 is a principal arterial, and if some of you have been out there, TxDOT is doing some work along this road. They are kind of on and off with it, but they are currently doing work on that road, and it would be their only access point to the property. And there is already an approved SUP to allow automobile repair and service major to the south of this property. So 2, general business district is meant to serve the overall needs of communities, very much commercial, things you need for every day, and it should be placed along principal transportation corridors. So again, FM 1103 is a principal transportation corridor. This is a sort of use that, they're coming here for the SUP. It's something that people need in their everyday. And again, they're not changing the base zoning. They're coming here to us to specifically do automobile repair major. And I do want to keep in the back of your mind that additional screening adjacent to residential is required for every non-residential to residential between these two, which would require a masonry wall, a 20-foot landscape buffer, and 1 tree every 30 linear feet. So that would be required. And 3, if this is compatible with the general purpose and intent of general business district, and again, kind of showing you what's in the surrounding area. It is within the existing Rancho Vista Recreational Vehicle Park. We have Fairway Subdivision, that's R6. That Total True Automotive, again, has also an SUP to allow automobile service and repair major. That was approved in 2019. We have Alamo Hangars at the back and Riata Subdivision. So for this approved specific use permit is one of the first steps the applicant has to take to come into full compliance with the use that they are proposing. So development applications are still required. They would still need to come in and submit a site permit application. They would need to submit building permits, and essentially they would need to go through all the steps required to receive a certificate of occupancy. So this means making sure they have all the parking that's necessary, striping, and all of that. And then 5, we have not received any additional criteria for the proposed zone change. And again, Alamo Food Trailers is a business that currently exists at the subject location, but with an approved specific use permit to allow automobile repair major, it would be one of the first steps towards coming towards full compliance. So with that, staff does recommend approval of the requested specific use permit to allow automobile repair and service major in general business district at the subject location, conditioned upon the following: that they receive a certificate of occupancy, and this means bringing the site into full compliance with all UDC site design requirements, which includes but isn't limited to screening, so that masonry wall, the additional landscape buffer, meeting all landscape requirements, doing what is need to be done to get that full C of O, and 2, a building permit is approved within 2 years of the adoption of the SUP. And the applicant is here tonight. They don't have a specific presentation, but if you have any specific questions for them, they're here.
Turn my microphone back on. All right, so no presentation from the applicant, correct? Okay. All right, so the next phase, it is 6:13. And I will open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the commission on this particular topic is welcome to step up to the microphone. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. And I need your name and address first for the record. Nobody? Nobody. All right, one more time, anybody? All right, it is 6:14. And public input is closed. Commissioners, comments, questions?
Did I hear that the business was already operating there?
Yes, sir, they were already operating there. So this SUP is one of the first steps towards coming into full compliance.
How long have they been operating there?
I'm not sure about that. A year.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Richard?
My only concern about this one is, the property is the business is in the back of the property towards residential. My only concern on this one is painting. And we have ordinances that say if you have a business, you're not allowed to have stuff like paint and fumes and odors and stuff cross the property line to someone next door. I think that's what it says. And I want to ask you, does Schertz allow outdoor painting, like for a car shop? Can I paint outdoors, or does it have to be in an indoor paint facility? Do you know?
I don't know.
Sure, if you wouldn't mind, come up and use
Yeah.
the microphone for us,
Yeah.
please. And can I get your name and address if you don't mind? Thank you for coming by so we can ask questions.
Sturgis, Santa Cruz, and live at 1017 Rigsby Avenue in San Antonio, Texas.
So the question was about painting?
Yeah, so, we've been working with Daisy for quite some time due to the nature of the permit. We had a difficult time kind of finding where we would actually land within the code. I know the SUP is more for an automotive body shop, painting, oil, engine things, but we don't actually do any of that. So, all of the trailers that we work on don't have any engines or oil or transmissions. We don't paint the trailers. All the trailers already have an existing aluminum that's already painted. So we actually don't do any painting either. So we don't have any kind of waste material. And that's kind of what's taken us a while to get through the process is kind of going back and forth saying, okay, well, is the SUP really the main category that we would fit in for that? So that's kind of been the delay, trying to see if we wouldn't need it or if we still would need it. And, with the help of them, they've kind of said, like, this is the process that we have to go through, and, we want to, make sure that we're in compliance.
Right.
So the painting, like I said, again, we're not painting vehicles. So, we really don't have like a paint shop or, any equipment to like do any kind of commercial painting, so.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Let me see.
Well, I will tell you, as the used to be fire marshal, automotive painting is supposed to be done in a UL approved booth and with exhaust and extinguisher requirements and
You said a key word there, though.
yeah, but yeah, so
Supposed to.
supposed to be.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what Schertz allows and doesn't allow, but that's for another discussion.
So I'm assuming then you just do decal work for putting business names and things like that on the
Yes,
exterior.
yes.
Okay.
So we can do vinyl work. We can do full wraps on trailers. Like I said, all the aluminum panels that we receive are already painted.
Okay. Thanks. Daisy, could I see a slide again? I think it was number 7, the dimensional requirements. So in the back, that's a building setback, correct? 25,
Yes,
25 feet? And then the landscape buffer is within that 25, correct?
Yes, correct, sir.
Okay. Probably another question, because I doubt you know it. If they've been operating for 12 months, has the city received any complaints about noise or anything like that? No?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Anybody else? No? You have something else? Yeah, you're the applicant, so if you have something else, come on up.
I wanted to speak more of operating hours. We're only operating Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, so we don't
Okay.
operate outside of those hours or on the weekends. So, if there was any concerns about noise, we definitely wouldn't be outside business hours.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, if there's no further questions or discussions, this will be a recommendation to City Council. We can recommend approval, we can recommend denial, we can recommend approval with conditions. I believe the SUP, as the staff presented it, the staff had some conditions about certificate of occupancy and there you go, that the building permit be pulled within 2 years, and they have a C of O. So,
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval with staff conditions as presented.
okay, Commissioner Wallace.
I'll second that.
Second from Commissioner McMaster to recommend approval with the conditions recommended by staff. Any further discussion, questions? All right, so in recording your vote, a yes vote would be to recommend approval. So please record your vote. Okay, I see 7 votes. You publish that, please. We have 7 ayes and none opposed. That motion passes. I'll make a comment here because it will also apply to all the actions tonight are all recommendations from this body to City Council. City Council has the final decision on all of these things. So sometime in the near future, these same items will appear on the City Council agenda for actual approval or denial, okay? All right, moving right along, 5B is PLZC 2024-0317. Hold a public hearing and make a recommendation on a request to rezone approximately 4.3 acres of land from Manufacturing Light District, M1, and Single Family Residential District, R6, to General Business District, GB, known as Comal County Property Identification Number 75307, also known as 7444 FM 482, City of Schertz, Comal County, Texas.
Thank you, Commission. This is PLZC 2024-0317, Samuel Haas, Senior Planner. So to get our bearings here, this is an aerial of the property. It is outlined in green. It's approximately 4.3 acres. As you mentioned, it's 744 FM 42, and currently there is an existing residential and business on the property. On January 23, 2025, a total of 6 public hearing notices were sent out. So far, we've received no responses. 1 sign was also posted on the property. And as I mentioned, the existing zoning you'll see here has a split zoning. There's M1 down the middle, and there is R6 on either side. And what they are proposing is to do just GB to make it consistent all the way throughout. So a little background on this. In August 20th, 2024, the rezone for the R6 was approved with Ordinance 24S145. The property had a non-conforming residence and an existing business on the property. The applicant wanted to build a larger home, and in order to do that, they had to rezone for residential. So things have changed. The applicant now intends to sell the property. The potential buyer is a landscaping company that would like to open up a nursery major on site, which would require a subsequent specific use permit. Some of those dimensional requirements here in the proposed general business district, you'll see the width and depth are 100 feet, front setback is 25. Any sort of residential adjacent, it will require side and rear of 25 as well. Parking is dictated in Article 10, and that is a max impervious coverage of 80%. So when staff is evaluating zone changes, we use UDC section 2154D, criteria for approval. Number one, whether the proposed zone change implements the policies of the adopted comprehensive land plan and any other applicable adopted plans. The comp plan designates this area as mixed use center, which property is firmly within that mixed use center. Number two, whether the proposed zone change promotes health, safety, and general welfare of the city. So the city should encourage development that's compatible with surrounding uses. The surrounding area consists of mostly open space, rural residences, Danville Middle School is across the street. There is there's a property zone apartment just to the west, and general business as well just to the west. So while the area is zoned for industrial uses, it is evolving to function more like a neighborhood. The consistent zoning also helps minimize conflicts among uses. So the split zoning versus the single zoning, staff feels that this is a little more promoting health, safety, and general welfare. You'll see this subject property here with the star. And as I mentioned, there's a property zone for apartments and general business already. There's a middle school just right across the street. Number three, whether the uses permitted by the proposed zone change will be consistent and appropriate with existing uses in the immediate area. Again, the immediate area being school, residences, rural open space. These are just some examples of the permitted uses within general business district. It's not an exhaustive list, it's just some examples. But you'll see bakery, bookstore, farmer's market. You'll see on the specific use side that nursery major is in there as well. So the proposed zone change does have uses that align with what's currently in the vicinity of the subject property. And number four, whether other factors are deemed relevant and important in the consideration of the amendment. So Schertz Fire and EMS and police have been notified of the zone change, have provided no objections. So the proposed zone change to general business aligns with a comprehensive plan. It is consistent with the surrounding land uses, and staff is recommending approval of PLZC 2024-0317.
All right, thank you, Sam. Is the applicant wish to make a presentation?
J. Brown, 7444 FM 482.
Pull that microphone down, just there you go.
All right, J. Brown, 7444 FM 482. And basically, Mr. Trey White is purchasing our property and needs to rezone it, to general business. And y'all were kind enough to go the other way for us a few months ago. We appreciate that, but things have changed, so that's what we're asking for.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. It is 6:27. And I will open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the commission on this subject, welcome to step forward. Another stampede, right? Nobody?
I just have a question for the...
Well, you can come up and ask the question and then or it might be easier just to get with him afterwards. But
Okay, I'm at 7514 FM 42.
And your name, sir?
Pedro Montalvo. Basically,
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
Please speak into the microphone. He'll hear you.
Oh, okay. You want me to say it again?
No, we got your name and address, but just what's your question?
Is it going to be emitting any smells from the nursery? I've been to nurseries before. I can't remember any, but I might be missing something, so. Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, come on up, and I'll consider you the applicant. Okay.
I'm going to give you a little flyer out that tells you who we are, so don't take it.
No. Well, as the applicant, you're not limited to 3 minutes, so.
My name is Trey White. My address is 510 Lancelot Way in Austin, Texas, I am a 50% owner of Leaf Landscape Supply. We are not a landscaping company, we are a nursery. And 90% of our business is wholesale. At our 2 locations in Austin, we do wholesale and retail. It's about 10% of our business. We have the largest nurseries in Austin, and we have our main deal is we have a large selection of SKUs valuable. I've been in the horticulture business for 40 years. We only sell plants. We sell no chemicals. We sell organic fertilizer. We have some accessory things, steel planters, steel edging, and we sell bagged soils, compost, mulch. But we don't sell any chemicals. There's going to be no odors because we don't have anything open like that. Majority of our materials container stock, and probably 70% is watered with spray stakes. So we don't throw a lot of water everywhere. Only some of the shrub sections have overhead irrigation, but everything, all the trees, anything bigger than a 5-gallon is on spray stakes. We hope to come to Schertz. I'm going to say that your staff here has been really good to work with, and that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed working with them compared to other places we are. But we think we'd be an asset to the community, and I will say one thing. I'm going to address one problem I have. So all the surrounding properties are zoned general business, but because like my neighbor who I talked to today, the one that's on the left that has the driveway, her property's for sale for commercial use. It's a 12-acre site, and right now what's required is an 8-foot masonry fence. She only has a 10-foot wide or 12, I don't know exactly, but it's not very wide, that she owns back to her property. It's probably 200 feet long. She doesn't really want a big masonry fence there. The use eventually is going to be business. I mean, that's what she's got it on the market right now for, is business use. So I'm going to try to work either with the Board of Adjustment and see if we can put something a little more pleasing to the surrounding properties, because when you look at it, you'll see. Any questions? Should I not ask that, Dale?
No. No, thank you, sir. We'll, if we have any questions, we'll get on them during our turn. Anybody else? Nobody? All right, it is 6:32. Public input is closed. Commissioners, anybody have a question? Mr. Wallace?
I had one. You had indicated that you would, this is for the applicant. I don't know if he's listening. You had indicated you do retail. Are you planning on doing retail at this location or just wholesale? Yeah. I'm sorry, I was trying to ask when you were up here.
Well,
yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
Let me jump in here, because
I know
the very next item is the specific use permit, and that question may be more relevant to that than it is to the zoning.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, what we're deciding right now is if GB is appropriate in this location.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No questions.
Just write it down so you don't forget it. Okay.
Gotcha.
Anybody? Sam, could you put, I'm just curious where that R4 is, and I briefly saw it on one of your slides. Okay, so it's...
It's called the Clayton Homes subdivision. Yeah, it's just right down the street.
All right, so there's Hubertus Road. So that's the middle school we're looking at?
Yep, right across the street is the middle school,
And then,
Danville.
what is it, a junior high? Or the elementary school is up here in the GB2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Richard?
Does the school district own that whole GB2, the GB, and the gray area, right?
I am
Or
unaware of that at
you
this
know?
time. Okay. Yes. they
Because
do.
we have a GB2, but it's a public school, so GB2 doesn't really matter. It's a public space right now.
Okay.
No, nobody's going to come in there and build a GB2 business on a school property. And so it doesn't make any difference to me, and I'm just wondering if on the corner, if that GB on the corner, is that school property or is that private property? It's school property?
GB on the corner is school property.
So does GB matter there, or is it public property now?
What's your question, sorry?
Is it GB or is it public property, PUB, because it's owned by the school district?
It is zone general business. It might be owned by the school, but the zoning is general business.
So if you build a school on a piece of property, it doesn't change it to PUB, the school has to change it, or it stays what it is?
Schools are permitted within many of our zoning districts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They could do that without having to change the zoning. It's just like, there are several things that are allowed just about anywhere. School is one of them, so. Anyone else? All right, so as Sam mentioned, the question before us is whether or not general business is the appropriate zoning for this particular piece of property. Once again, this is a recommendation to City Council, and we can recommend approval, denial, or approval with conditions. So if whatever is commission's, someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of PLZC 2024-0317.
Second.
All right, motion to recommend approval from Commissioner McMaster, a second from Commissioner Goldick. Any further discussion or questions? All right, an aye vote is to recommend approval, so please record your votes. All right, I see 7 votes. If you'd publish that, please. We have 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. Okay, item 5C, PLSPU 2024-0323. Hold a public hearing to make a recommendation on a request for a specific use permit to allow a nursery major on approximately 4.3 acres of land known as Comal County Property Identification Number 75307, also known as 7444 FM 482, City of Schertz, Comal County, Texas.
Thank you, Commission. This is PLSPU 2024-0323, Samuel Haas, Senior Planner. A lot of this is going to look fairly similar from the last presentation, but as I mentioned, the property is outlined in green here. It is approximately 4.3 acres. Right now there is existing residential and existing business. January 23, 2025, 6 public hearing notices were sent out. We received no opposition and a sign was posted on the property. So the applicant is the property owner who is requesting a specific use permit for the property on behalf of a potential buyer. And the buyer is a landscaping company or a nursery that would like to open a nursery major on site. So the Unified Development Code Article 16 defines nursery major as an establishment for the cultivation and propagation, display, storage, and sale of large plants, shrubs, trees, and other materials used in indoor and outdoor plantings, and the contracting for installation and or maintenance of landscaping material as an accessory use. Outdoor display and storage is permitted. When staff is evaluating specific use permits, we look at UDC Section 21.511D. And number 1, the proposed use of the specified location is consistent with the policies of the adopted comprehensive land plan or any other applicable adopted plans. So again, the comprehensive plan designates this area as mixed use center, and that is intended to integrate residential, commercial, and entertainment spaces along major transportation corridors. The specific use of nursery major is consistent with the desired commercial portions of mixed use center. And here is a map of that mixed use center. Number 2, the proposed use is consistent with the general purpose and intent of the applicable zoning district. The UDC defines general business district as intended to provide suitable areas for the development of non-residential uses, offer a wide variety of retail and service establishment, and then businesses are usually located along principal transportation corridors. So the nursery major does meet the intended use of the general business district, and FM 42 is also classified as a principal arterial, that major transportation corridor. Number 3, the proposed use is compatible with and preserves the character and integrity of the adjacent developments in the neighborhood. So the adjacent developments in the neighborhood consist mostly of a school, residences, and rural or open space. Also, Casa Verde Farms is about a half mile to the southwest on FM 42, which is also a nursery. So due to these factors, the proposed use is compatible with what's in the area. The proposed use will not adversely affect the overall health, safety, or general welfare of the city. So there are similar uses in other parts of Schertz, which indicates no inherent adverse effects. Locations of property is largely rural or open space, so the impacts of this use would be minimized. And I should mention that Article 9 of the UDC is in place to help mitigate any potential conflicts. And number 5, whether other factors are deemed relevant and important in the consideration of the specific use permit. Again, Schertz Fire and EMS and police have been notified of the specific use request and have provided no objections. And the proposed specific use permit is consistent with the comp plan, meets the intent of the zoning district, is consistent with the surrounding area, and therefore staff is recommending approval of PL-SPU 2024-0323, conditioned on the following. A building permit is approved within 2 years of the adopted specific use permit ordinance.
All right, thank you. Would either of you like to add anything to your earlier comments? No? Okay. All right, so once again, it's a public hearing. It is 6:41. And I will open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the council, or the commission, I should say, welcome to step forward to the microphone. No one? You're making it easy for us tonight, huh? Nobody. All right, it is 6:42. The public input portion is closed. I have a real quick question here, but Commissioner Wallace, you want to ask that question?
If I could, so again, do y'all plan on doing retail in addition to the wholesale, or is it just a wholesale? Yeah.
Come on up.
Yes, sir. Our hope is to do retail. Okay. We're open 6 days a week, 7:30 to 4:30, so we're not like regular retail. But it's the only opportunity for a retail person to buy professional. I mean, again, we have 3,000 SKUs and an amazing amount of plant materials. So we're hoping to be, we're working with Sam, parking, some of the things when you open for retail are a little more onerous, if you will. So I would say right now, yes, the plan is to be, that's what we are in Austin.
Yeah.
We're the only wholesale nursery that's open to the public. And I would suggest you go to our website and you can see some of our stuff and our reviews. And we're a valued part of the community there and hope to be here also. So any other questions?
All right, thank you. Roderick?
Yes, sir. So what's the largest tree that you carry?
Oh, I mean, sir, we carry, if you got the money, sir, we can bring you the tree because we buy from coast to coast. Our locations do approximately $11 million a piece a year. We have trees, I mean, we can supply 12-inch trees, B&B. On the site, we usually have hundreds and 200-gallon trees as the largest. And we'll have some large boxes also, so probably a 48-inch box.
So would that include a live oak?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. I mean, I also have a tree farm, and 60% of my crop's live oak. So,
okay.
Yeah. So we sell a lot. That's our major, because we do production builder work. We actually have 7. One of our customers in Austin has 7 subdivisions between here and San Marcos, and they predominantly, all the builders use live oaks. Okay.
Okay. So if your customer needs a certain type of tree, then you all secure that for them?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, we hope to. We if you got money, sir, we try to help you, sir. I mean, that's
Welcome to
our goal.
America.
No, well, again, I will do, I have sources from Oregon all the way Arizona, Florida, up the coast to North Carolina. So we have more sources than anybody within 100 and something miles of here, I'm pretty sure. So if you can't get it from us, you're not going to get it, I would say to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Sam, probably a question I should have asked on the zoning. Would you put the where you have the property outlined, that blue, yeah, either one of those will work. What's that cutout in the front?
We're trying to ascertain that as well. Most likely some sort of right-of-way thing from TxDOT.
Okay.
I think we'll discover that more in the plating process, but
Okay,
honestly, we don't really know.
all right. Thanks. Anybody else?
I have a question.
All right.
So whenever, can we go back to the conditions? So say they don't meet that 2-year requirement, will it just go back to general business?
Well, the specific use permit will just expire.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So the zoning designation will remain, but their request for the nursery major will expire.
Okay, and someone else would need to come back in and reapply for a
Yes.
special permit? Okay.
Yes, see, assuming city council were to approve the rezone, it then becomes general business. And again, this is why sometimes we want to look beyond a specific use, because either the permit expires or the business doesn't survive, the property remains general business. And anything within that use, general business use, can move in there. So just a little teaching moment there. All right, anybody have anything else? All right, so again, we can, there's a recommendation to city council. We can recommend approval, denial, approval with conditions. And I'm sorry, staff had conditions, right? Yeah, so. Anyone care?
Sorry. I'd like to recommend approval of PLSPU 20240323 with conditions as presented by staff.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Wallace and a second from Commissioner Hector to recommend approval of PLSPU 2024-023 with the conditions as specified by staff. Somebody's voting already. Okay. Any further discussion? All right, please record your vote. Yeah, that was me 2 weeks ago. Okay, I see 7 votes. Would you publish that vote, please? 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. And once again, this will go to City Council for their final approval. So, all right, moving on. Item 5D is a public hearing. PLUDC 2025-0001. Conduct a public hearing, workshop, and discussion and possible action to make a recommendation on amendments to Part 3 of the Schertz Code of Ordinances, Unified Development Code, to Article 5, Section 21.5.4 zoning change, and Article 5, Section 21.5.7 dimensional and developmental standards. Staff has asked us to table this. What was that? The legal guys wanted you to do some more notification? So,
Yes.
I was looking, unfortunately, in moving things around on the iPad, I've lost our rules and regulations. It's not called table, it's called something else. Well, we all know what our intent is. But because it was posted as a public hearing, we're required to hold a public hearing. So what Sam's going to do is just a quick and dirty thing, and then we'll do right. Sam, go ahead.
Right. This is PLUDC 2025-0001, Samuel Haas, Senior Planner. And I will just kind of go into the background a little bit and then explain why we are tabling or postponing this. Essentially, staff is proposing UDC amendments to Article 5 in two sections. One is for the protest, which is really a result of the charter amendments that were recently passed by the voters in Schertz. And essentially what that language is referencing is the second hearing in the ordinance adoption process. The charter has been amended, it only requires one hearing. So all that language in the UDC that references 2 hearings, second reading and all that stuff has to, we're proposing to take it out in order to just make it make sense. Otherwise it's because that doesn't really apply anymore. So that's the first one. And then the second one is in relation to our pre-development district. Currently, our pre-development district has no dimensional standards. It hasn't been an issue in the past because there's no real permitted uses within pre-development. So when somebody comes in for a development of that property, they have to rezone it first, which then applies certain standards. But if somebody does want to come in and just subdivide their pre, there's no real dimensions to it. There's no width, there's no depth. They can do all kinds of lots, anything that they want to see fit. So staff thought we would propose some standards to that specific district. However, there's been some developments in case law really very recently that our legal team has advised us that we should probably notify everybody in pre that this is happening. So staff is proposing that we table this until the next meeting so we can do that. And that is essentially the presentation. So I'll just
All
leave
right. Thank you, sir.
it on something.
All right, public hearing. The floor is open. It is 6:51. And the floor is open for public comment. Anybody? Nobody. Okay, it is 6:52. And the floor is closed. The proper term, thanks to Commissioner Bro here, is postpone. So could I have a motion to postpone disposition of PLUDC 2025-0001 to a future meeting to be determined? Does that sound good? Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to postpone PLUDC 2025-001 to a future meeting.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Who has a second? Commissioner Wallace. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please record your vote. I see 7 votes. You publish that, please. I have 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. Thank you. Okay, item number 6, requests and announcements. 6A, request by commissioners to place items on a future planning and zoning agenda. Anybody have anything? Nothing. 6B, announcements by commissioners. Anybody? Nobody. Okay, 6C, announcements by city staff. Nothing there either. All righty. Item 7, information available in the Planning and Zoning Commission packets. No discussion to occur. 7A, you'll find the status of whatever projects are pending or recent council action in your packets. All right, and so item 8, there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 6:54.